This segment's going to deal with high lines with an English reeve system, also referred to as Tyrolean traverse. Before you start, you need to delegate assignments to both banks. This application infers that you've got a ravine or a gorge, two opposing cliffs, and you need to build a system that's going to allow you to traverse over the objective, lower down into the objective, haul up out of the objective, and then go to either bank. In delegating those assignments, you want to keep the hub of your operations on one bank and the support functions on the other bank. That kind of streamlines the setup and the assembly of the system. You also need to make sure that you use color codes with your ropes and tiered delegation of where the systems are rigging in on the anchors so that you can easily identify which components are what. There's a lot of elements to this system and it can quickly become overwhelming and confusing. So on the operational hub bank, you're basically going to have three established anchor components. Your top anchor segment is going to be high strength tie-offs or tensionless wraps. This should be done with double track lines. We're utilizing double track lines and high strength tie-offs because when utilizing a dynamometer, any system involving critical angles like in a Highline system produce tremendous forces way beyond what we utilize or what we see in standard or traditional vertical hauling systems. So we're going to build these systems as strong as we possibly can. Your second tiered system is going to be the belay system. The best system utilized for the belay system is a tandem Prusik belay or an MPD. You need to have a system that has the ability to convert to a hauling system because when you're coming back up or tensioning the belay system as the traverse comes towards you, a lot of times the deflection angle produces load on that belay and it's very difficult to haul the load back to this bank. So being able to rig in a quick mechanical advantage and convert that system is advantageous. The bottom anchor is going to be a lower haul system. You want to make sure that that has the ability to accommodate both operations and change over quickly. Once you have all three of these systems established, you're going to take all your components of rope that will be integrated into these systems and connect them into one attachment point on this bank. Once they're tied into that one attachment point, you can call over to the other bank, and if their systems are rigged in place, you're ready to go ahead and deploy the entire system over to the other side and erect it up into place. That's it for preliminary operations on the hub side of the bank. Here we've got our four systems. This white line and this orange line are delegated or designated as our track lines. The red line is going to be utilized as our lower haul line, and the white line is going to be utilized as our belay line. You want all these tails and all the bags of rope or the surplus of rope on this operational side to begin. There's a variety of ways to deploy this system and erect it. We have found that this is the simplest, the cleanest, and the fastest. Once these lines are all oriented, I would go ahead and dump the track lines out of the bags. I'd assemble those two tails into one carabiner. I would assemble the two operational tails into another carabiner, and then I'd rig those to a master point. I would make sure that I communicated clearly with the support side what lines were designated as what and how they were clipped together. Because we're using one common belay line instead of two dedicated belay lines, we're going to generate a little bit of slack in this line before we rig it into our system. So approximately 2 full arm lengths, and then you can go ahead and rig it into your tandem Prusik belay. For the operational line, we also need to accommodate slack for the movable control point of the system that we're rigging. On distances or lengths for the lower haul line, you need to have a line that's going to accommodate not just the traverse from bank to bank, but also the full depth of the descent and the haul. So typically, your lower haul line is going to be your longest line. Or your 2 arm lengths of slack. And then we know, because we're traversing at the highest point, our initial base of operation is going to be a lower operation. So the initial rigging element should be a brake bar rack for lower operations.